This is the view that most people will get of this car. The 4 big bore exhausts, the massive diffuser, the tiny little lip spoiler on the boot, and of course, for a very, very short time, that badge that tells you what exactly this is, the BMW M4 competition. Of course, many people will say that that rear end is actually the end you want to see and the view you want to see. I'm not going to say so much. There's been enough controversy about probably the biggest grille that's ever been put on a BMW, and the way the number plate cuts it in half, etc., etc. Let's just leave that alone. It certainly looks mean, and I think that is what really counts. It's low. You've got, of course, the carbon fiber splitter at the front. You've got carbon fiber effect over there. You've got the LED headlights with the blue effect from BMW over there. Scoops, ridges, edges, edgy. It's got it all. You know it, because you know this car has got to mean business. Beautiful 20-inch mag wheels over here. Fill the arches totally. You'd expect it, of course. Red calipers over there. And let me tell you, these red calipers, these brakes, obviously genuine M Sport brakes. They certainly stop this car, perhaps too efficiently sometimes when you're trying to drive in traffic. M4 competition badge over there, just in case you didn't realize what you're dealing with over here. And of course, you've got the body kit, the skirt. Look at that low skirt over there. It really gives the effect. The 2-door 4 Series body shell. I don't have to say too much about that either, quite honestly. You know it, you've seen it, and it looks as mean as they come. You come round towards the back, of course, you've got the long sloping C-pillar over here. Everything over here. And then, to me, actually fairly surprisingly, a really big boot. And I say fairly surprisingly, quite honestly. Can't even lift the bottom board over here. So no spare wheel, you know the story, you know what happens over here. The standard, of course, run flats, etc. And then, interestingly, on a car like this, because it's meant for business, as we know, you do get, of course, the auto closing on the boot as well. Just everything about this car spells mean, and that's what it's meant to spell. But it's on the road where it really counts, of course. Check it on the road and we'll have a look inside. Well, now the M4 competition, the whole crux of this car, of course, is just the sheer power. When you're allowed to drive, of course, the stopping power as well comes into it. But let's just feel acceleration now from a stop. Besides hearing that noise, I mean, can you just conceive of that sound from the exhaust? And I'm just in normal road mode. I'm not in any special modes. You, of course, have your sport mode, you have track mode, you have all these different modes available to you. But the real crux of this car, besides the fact that you just hit any little bump on the road and you certainly feel it, especially through these carbon fiber sport seats, which are amazing until you try and get out. But once you're in, and they hold you in, and they hold you in so brilliantly. But you'll feel a nice sweep over here, and this car just sits flat and easy and holds the road like an absolute monster. You could feel that, I'm sure. And it just really, don't look at the speedometer while I do it, but it certainly is. This is what this car is built for, is a piece of road like this, where you can just play a little bit, shall I say, and enjoy yourself just that little bit, and cruise through on our favorite road to Hearties. And that's why I'm here today, because this is always my favorite. You can see it's telling me it's a twisty piece of road. Well, what more do you want when you're in this car except a twisty little piece of road? The 375 kilowatts, 650 Newton meters. What more do you need to say on that subject? The This thing is unbelievable. Obviously the turbos come in instantly. Kick down if you want on the gearbox is instant. The road holding is just unbelievable. I think that's the word. You just shoot through every corner with absolute confidence. Obviously having it in this mode means all the electronic nannies are switched on and in place. And that's how it's going to be driven most of the time. Maybe if you want to go into manic mode on very rare occasions, you may switch off and go into the other modes, but I don't even believe you need to. I think this is more than suffice, and let me tell you, it's quite a driving experience, just as it is. The doors are long, they're low, of course they're frameless. But now, you've got to look inside. Starting even on the door panel. The orange trim. I've got to mention the orange trim. It looks interesting, it looks stunning. Whether I could live with it long term or not, I really have to think very hard. Of course, on the tread plate over here, you've got the M4 competition legend over there, which is important. And next to it over here, of course, you've got electric adjustment for both driver and passenger. But bring the camera back slightly and you'll see these seats. Obviously, the sport seats, you've got the carbon fiber on the seat. If you look at the shape of the seat, it's obviously a racing seat. But, there's something I've got to show you about this. And this is where maybe, I would have said what's called comfort exit and egress or exit would be useful on a car like this. Because maybe it's my age, maybe it's my bad back, but getting in is not the easiest thing in the world. It's great once you're in. It's fine once you're in. But if you think that was bad, wait a second. Wait one moment. Because let's see how I get out of here. And the problem there is, it's almost like that comic video about getting out on all fours. And that's how you get out of the driver's seat on this car, let alone getting in or out of the back. So let's see what's it like if you are going to ride in the cheap seats on this one. You see it does automatically move forward a little bit, which is good. Again, yeets. And there we go. Of course, all these gaps in the seat do give you a lot of help there. And I must say, driver's seat set for me. Tons of room in the back, I'm surprised. Headroom just makes it with my hat on. I've got to use the word just, but it does make it. Of course, a taller driver, that seat would be a lot further back. But let's not complain about that. What I think would be more is I think I could get a touch claustrophobic in the back here because this rear window doesn't open. But from a luxury point of view, what rear seat passengers do get is their own aircon controls and 2 USB ports down over here in the back. So good stuff over there. Well done. A little while ago, I commented on a BMW and I said the issue I had is, as wonderful a cabin as it is, all BMWs were the same, whether it was a 1 Series or an 8 Series. And I found that it spoiled the occasion of the upper models a bit. Well, get a proper M model and you don't have that problem, because then you've got it all and you've got it different. Let's start with the steering wheel. You'll have a look over here and you'll notice the M1 and M2 red buttons over here. Manic 1, Manic 2, as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, it's the different preset settings for going into race modes, etc., etc. So those are the shortcuts, shall we call them. And believe me, they work. You then look at these superb, long paddles over here for manual shifting if you're in that mode. and you get that effect as well. Even the dashboard is slightly different, but it's not that different, so let's not worry over there. But now let's come down over here to the center console. And again, the differences. On other BMWs, you simply take this pistol grip forward and backward for drive and reverse. Well, not on this one, because on this one, you've got to shunt it to the left and up for reverse, or just click it like that for drive, or down again for manual mode, sport mode. So you've got all of those. So there already are some differences. And just move up, of course, you've got front, rear cameras, overhead cameras, 360 cameras, etc. This is where, of course, now you get the luxury side of things, as opposed to just the pure crazy performance side of how this car works and what it does. But now coming back to the center console, what is important, of course, is these buttons here. Just those three. They're the ones that really make the difference, because that's your exhaust, whether you want the raucous exhaust or the normal exhaust, setup, and of course M mode. And when you press that one, it'll pop up on the screen. It'll give you the choice of normal, sport, or track mode. So it depends what mode you want. And you know that, of course, it's going to affect every possible setting on this car. The dampers, the gearing, the acceleration, oh boy, it goes on. And of course, as you go into those race modes and track modes, it'll switch out some of the nannies. It'll go to rear wheel drive only, as opposed to BMW's X-Drive all-wheel drive, which I haven't even mentioned up to now, but the incredible road holding that all-wheel drive system gives you in this car. All of those kind of things that, of course, you get. And it gives you all of that, and you just carry on and you leave it as it is, and you just leave it there, and you just drive this car, because believe me, it can be in normal mean mode all the time, which it's almost like it does not want to be driven in traffic. It's almost too hesitant. You add a robot, the robot goes green, you put your foot down gently, there's that minor delay. It hunkers itself down, it sucks down to the tarmac and catapults away on a pull-off. It's unbelievable. It really is. But what do you expect with 375 kilowatts, 650 newton meters of torque in this car? With all the carbon fiber that you've got, carbon fiber roof, the seats I've mentioned, the carbon fiber on the dash, all of that, obviously lighter than the standard versions to give you even better power to weight ratios and things like that. They just keep on coming. It keeps on giving, as far as I'm concerned. Well, quite honestly, at a base price, without any extras, of 2 million rand, give or take a couple of rand, you'd expect that. But it delivers in bucketfuls, in spadefuls. It really does. This is such a select little niche market. C63s would be about the only real one that I think you'd really compete over here, but they're different in some ways, similar in other ways, but it doesn't matter. This is a car that, as far as I'm concerned, I'd far rather have purely for Sunday blasts rather than drive it every day. And these seats, they look good on a track, they'll do the job. But unless you've got a very well padded derriere, you may find them a little bit uncomfortable on the long road. But it's up to you. But overall, fun with a capital F, manic with a capital M, and just special in every single way, getting cars like this to test. And it's what makes life really, really fun and enjoyable from my point of view. Well, that's as much as I can say on this one. So all I'll say to you is, for Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor, and I'll see you next time.